Good day, YouTubers. This is Brandon with the Tennessee Outdoor Forum. Coming to you today with another knife review. We have today the Combat Ready Comred 88. This knife is a very exciting knife that we have here in for review on the forum. Very excited to get these knives and to have the opportunity to be able to review them for you all. Had some pocket time with this one, and I've grown to determine after playing with all the frames that Combat Ready has out, this is my favorite, and given that it was my favorite out of all the frames, I figured it'd be the first one that I would review for you. So here it goes. I'm kind of new to the video reviews. We're trying to do these that way we can get them on YouTube and also to post them on our forum to have them available for you. This knife comes to you from the brand new line that was let out by a company called Combat Ready. Combat Ready is a company that is a result of Kevin Pipes from the Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Kevin had a kind of a vision and a thought that he already owned the line of knives, the very economical, very affordable Rough Rider series. The Rough Rider series of knives are great knives. Carried them a lot, had them a lot. I carry one almost every day. Love them. They have an extremely high quality at just a terrific value price point on the knife. These knives are no different than the Rough Riders in that respect. That these knives are incredible value, incredible workmanship, the fit and the feel for the blade, the finishes, the materials, top notch. And we're going to get to the value of the knife closer to the end of the review. But I wanted to touch first of all on the knife itself. One thing I want to throw in here real quick is it does come in a very cool box. It has the Combat Ready Eagle logo on the front. If you flip to the side of the knives, it says, "For the world's," and see if I can get it in focus, "for the world's most demanding defense professionals." And if you turn to the end of the box, it actually reads the Second Amendment on the end of the box, which I thought was very cool. On the reverse side of the box, it has the slogan for the Combat Ready series. It talks about the liberty of natural man and the right of every free person. Sadly, freedom is never free. It sometimes comes across with the highest price of all. The blood of patriots who always have and always will stand combat ready to answer the call for freedom and justice for all. We proudly support our products with the same fierce tenacity as those who defend our freedoms for life. Combat Ready products have a full lifetime guarantee, free of manufacturer's defects, for as long as you own their knife, period. Can I get a hoorah? And the knives were made in mind with people who are in military and police professions to be able to carry these. But one thing that Mr. Pipes also wanted to do with this line is to create a knife that the common man would carry every day and could carry as an everyday carry option. And I believe that they've done a great job. Once we go through this, I'm going to show some of the build and some of the fit and everything on the knife. The Combat Ready knife, as it stands, in overall length is about 8.5 inches long. Let's get it in focus here. The full blade. You can see it's 8.5 inches long, which in respect, in comparison to some of the other knives that we reviewed, if I can quit dropping everything, we have another knife that we've reviewed previously that we'll put in for a comparison point, which is the Kershaw Blackout. And I'll put it up there next to it, and that blade on that one is a little bit dirty. You'll see that it's similar, very similar in size to the Kershaw Blackout. I can't get them in frame. The thing is, and the difference that it comes into is look at the difference in the blades. There is so much more belly on the blade of the CR knife than there is on the blade of the Kershaw knife. And you can see the difference there in that. Both of them very similar. Both of them half serrated, half plain blade. One major difference that you'll find there is that this particular blade is not assisted opening. I would like to see it as an assisted opening knives. And for those of y'all who like the assisted openers, Combat Ready does have a couple of assisted openers. Excuse me. that we will review at a later time. One of them is coming up next. It's actually called the Propaganda. If you want to go ahead and look that up, we're going to review it next. But in this Combat Ready series, you see here a couple of key points and things I really like to see in a knife. Number one, the knife just feels great in hand. It fits in hand very well. I have enormous hands. As you could probably see, my hands are huge. But the knife fits and it handles very well in my hand. You'll see here on the spine, as I show you from that profile and that way, there is some jimping that's on the spine of the blade right at the thumb hold. There could be a little bit more there. I feel like that it's a little lack on what I would like to see it have. Maybe just a couple more pegs of the jimping on there would be great. But it's not a deal breaker. It does have a really good purchase, a good handhold. The other thing I like to see is the way that the front is made right here in the handle, where when you do hold it, that it ergonomically fits and you have that bit of a handle guard between you and the serrations on the blade. That could be very important, especially if you ever had to employ the knife in a combat or defensive role. Now, one downfall to the knife, and I do like to touch on the downfalls as well as what I like about the knife. One downfall about the knife is advertised as having a multi-positional pocket clip. And it does have a multi-positional pocket clip. If I could put this down here, I'm going to use another knife to point. Previously reviewed, oh so sweet, great EDC knife, one of my all-time favorites. But as you'll see, the screw holes here and here line up to make the holes that it comes from the factory in, which in my opinion are the best that you have. Now, this clip in all can be moved, but it is moved to here and here. So while it does have another position that you can put the clip in, it really is not multi-positionals. You're just changing the end coordination of where it is in relation to the end of the knife, which to me is not a multi-positional clip. This is a multi-positional clip. If I can get this knife in frame, you'll see here that it's attached. I carry mine tipped down most of the time. That's why I keep it that way. But it does have the multi-position switch where you can carry tip up. And it is only one side of the knife, but it does have the options to do both. Now, one thing that I do really like about this knife is that, a lot like the ZTO 300 that we reviewed, this is a frame lock. It does lock with the full frame. You can see in that lock, if I can get it in focus good, the lock has a good purchase that locks up to the blade very well, keeps it locked in position very firmly. One thing that you'll find with this knife is that being that it does have it has a positive click when it is open. You have a very good audible alert to let you know that the knife is open and it is locked in place the way that it should be. Now, it has the titanium nitride coating on the blade, the black oxide coating, which I really like that coating. The knife comes out of the box at just a razor sharp edge. Very impressed with the edge on all of these blades. The other thing that you'll find too is that this is a very aggressive textured G10 handle that's on the front side, and it almost looks black, I can tell from the video, but it's actually in an OD green. It's a very neat OD green color that you have on the knife. Very cool looking fit and finish to it. I mean, I kind of like the color handles myself. And this one is no exception to that. I really like the OD green on that. Another really cool thing, and I've never really been one to use these a whole lot, but this one actually has a really functional lanyard hole in the end of the knife. I know that some knives that you have, even ones that I've reviewed favorably, advertise the Kershaw Blackout is advertised as having a lanyard hole. Well, that's the lanyard hole that you get with a Blackout. Not very impressive. You can't even get a piece of paracord through that. This one, you would have absolutely no problem threading a piece of paracord through that hole. Excellent option for being able to put a lanyard in. Another really cool thing that you have here is it does have, if I can get it in frame right, it has a glass breaker. If you'll see that little bevel on the end there, that is a glass breaking tool. It's also a self-defense tool in the event that you need to take the knife in hand and use it as a striking tool to strike with. it can certainly be employed for that option. Now, one thing is you do also have the ambidextrous thumb stud. You have the thumb studs on either side of the blade. One thing that I've found with the thumb studs on these knives, and it's not a total deal breaker, but the thumb studs do need a little bit of Loctite. Once you get the thumb studs at home, unscrew the studs off there and put you a little Loctite in there. Screw them back down real tight, and they'll stay solid as a tank. These are solid. After I did them, they've never had a problem since. So I would highly encourage you doing that on there, putting that Loctite in. The knife overall, the feel that you have in the knife is a very, it's solid. It is solid as a rock. And I can't put the camera down, but you have absolutely no blade play in this blade whatsoever. There's no, a lot of times if you take a knife and you can shake it, you'll hear a rattle up and down, side to side. There's no give in that knife whatsoever. It's locked up, and its purchase once it's locked up is absolutely tank solid. And while I'm not exactly comparing, because these are completely different knives, and I would compare the lockup on this knife, the closest thing that I have seen to this that I've personally held and played with and reviewed on this is a ZTO 300. This knife, for the value, we're going to get to the value because that's the real sale on this knife. The value on this knife and with the ZTO 300, I would say that this knife outperforms that knife when you factor in the value of the blade. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Knife's made of Aus 8 steel, which is it's a good steel. I've got a lot of knives that are made of Aus 8. As a matter of fact, the particular Oso suite that I have is also an Aus 8 steel knife. Now, they do make it in I believe it's 813 CRMOV steel. That's a good steel, don't get me wrong, but the Aus 8 steel is an excellent steel as well. You have the titanium nitride coating on the blade, like I said. It is the frame lock. The blade closed is 3 3/4 inches. Or the knife closed is, the handles are 4 3/4 inches. The blade itself is 3 3/4 inches, which you'll find is a good overall length just for the utility purposes. Great slicer, great penetration ability with the drop point. I believe you'd be really pleased with that. Coming up on my time frame here, price point on this blade, and the biggest sell point that I can give you, ZTO 300s typically run right around the $249 mark. Great knife, well worth the price. This blade, $14.99, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Not making a commercial for them, but still yet, best deal I found. And also, the guarantee that comes with the knife is just spectacular, which I do know from personal experience that Kershaw stands behind their products 100%. Well, this particular company, they do have a lifetime warranty. If you ever break this blade, you can take it back into Smoky Mountain Knife Works, say, hey, this broke, I need a new one. They'll hand you a new one straight from under the counter, no questions asked. Which to me, that's a pretty awesome, similar to a Craftsman hand tool, awesome deal. So I'm very glad that I could do this review for you guys. If you have any questions, I'm going to annotate the web address to our website below, www.tnoutdoorforum.com. And thank you guys very much. I look forward to your comments and your emails. See ya.